Hey, this is a quick addendum, I guess. Is that what you call it? Just finished making a video and then just thought of something. I said about movies and coincidences. And said I think I need to sort of discuss this more because there's a lot of these. But here's a really funny, weird coincidence. Yeah? So I just mentioned Naked Gun. And Leslie Nielsen used to play Frank Drebin, and Leslie Nielsen, rest in peace Leslie Nielsen, he used to sort of specialise in playing idiots basically. And Naked Gun's a funny premise because it said about lunatics running the asylum, like Naked Gun is about the police force, but it's just stupid, it's a spoof, it's a outrageous comedy. But I went to cinema the other day and there was a trailer for a new film, Naked Gun again. Obviously Leslie Nielsen is no longer with us. So I assume it's the same characters but it's different actors. So Liam Neeson is now the main guy. If he's not playing Frank Drebin, he's playing the equivalent to Frank Drebin. I have to see the movie. I haven't seen it. But he basically, whether he's Frank Drebin or not, he's Frank Drebin. He's the same character. And it's just a funny coincidence that you had Leslie Nielsen and now you got Liam Neeson, and it's just very, very similar names. If you pronounce them as like their initial and their surname, you got L. Nielsen and L. Neeson. Leslie Nielsen, Liam Nielsen. Oh, are they even the same? I'm confusing myself now. Before, when I thought it, I thought they were the same, but they're not. They're pretty much the same. Leslie Nielsen, L. Nielsen, Liam Neeson, L. Neeson, L. Nielsen, L. Neeson. And it's just I don't know what to make of it, but it's just a funny coincidence. Especially because Liam Neeson is not. It's not the kind of role you associate him with. He's not one for these sort of comedy movies, so it's kind of a different path for the guy. And I feel like I don't know, once again it could be synchronicity, it could be conspiring casting, I don't know, but these, even not just the movies but like the casting of movies has these strange parallels, these strange coincidences, these strange those strange parallels, strange coincidences. You get actors that have these overlaps between their movies, and it's not, I know people say, oh, it's just what do you call it, typecasting, and you obviously get typecasting. Like Liam Neeson is typecasted. He since he's made the Taken movies, he plays that guy, the guy you don't mess with. And I get that, there is typecasting and there's a reason for that. You get certain guys that just play the same guy all the time. But then there's other ones that it's not typecasting, because there's a common theme, like I said, an overlap, a parallel between the movies, that only a trained eye maybe would see. Like, I see it, but I see things differently, but it's there. An example would be someone like Jim Carrey. I think been shown he's like the Green Man. He's like the Grinch, and he was the Riddler. And who else has he been? He was the Mask. And there's other ones, but yeah, that's just three that popped to my head. And there's no common theme there really, other than the green sort of outrageous sort of character that Jim Carrey plays. But I know that's been pointed out before, and it's just a funny parallel that you can't really say is typecasting, because he's not playing the same character, but actually, in a strange sort of way, he is playing the same character. Sorry, my phone ran out of storage space then, so cut me off mid-flow. Yeah, I was talking about Jim Carrey. And yeah, there is a parallel there. And that's not my observation, but that's something I've seen other people talk about, but it's there. But I'll give an example that is my own personal observation, and this is probably bigger than Jim Carrey in terms of the examples. So I've noticed Ryan Reynolds has this funny overlap. It's not like every single movie, but it's a lot of movies. So Ryan Reynolds, I would say he's a A-list actor. He's generally like the main character, one of the main characters in the film. So I remember seeing a film, I think it's called Life, funny enough, Life. And he was in it, spoiler alert, so don't listen if you don't want to have it spoiled. But basically, he's in this movie called Life. And he's one of the main characters in it, shown on like the front cover. But he like dies in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. And I remember thinking, that's funny casting. Why is he like dying in the first 5 minutes of the movie? Seems a bit pointless him being in it. Anyway, I've since noticed something that makes sense of that. Is that Ryan Reynolds has this funny overlap in his movies of being the dead guy. I mean, he's Deadpool. So that, self-explanatory. But then he was in this film called Selfless, where basically some guy dies and lives on through somebody else's body. And Ryan Reynolds is the dead guy. And then there's another film, and it's pretty much exactly the same plot, and it's Ryan Reynolds again. And then he's in R.I.P.D., where he's like some cops that are, I've not actually seen the movie, but operating in the dead realm. I might have seen the movie actually, I can't remember. Anyway, pointless. It's you get the gist. He's in Christmas movie, Scrooged equivalent, where he's dead once again. I think there's a film called Six Under where they're all dead, and he's just got this reoccurring theme of being the dead guy. And that's not typecasting, because he's not playing the same guy, even though Ryan Reynolds does kind of always play the same guy, but that's another conversation. But you know what I mean? It's not typecasting in that kind of way. But there is this funny parallel, this funny overlap of Ryan Reynolds movies where he plays the dead guy. And there's more examples, I'm sure. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Just that alone is enough for me to like say there's something strange going on there, something weird. I have to look through his IMDb, and I sort of come to the realization just gradually through watching films is like, and they starting to tally up. It's like, what's going on here? It's weird, strange. And I said I don't know how, I don't know why, but there's something going on there. There's this strange overlap. And I know it can just be synchronicity, which I think is not something to be dismissed, because then that suggests there's something going on a higher plane, where these characters, these people are performing a role. Because if you're not being typecasted by whoever's making these movies, and they're like Ryan Reynolds playing the dead guy, then why did he keep playing the dead guy? It suggests that within some other realm of intelligence or whatever, on a supernatural sort of scale, he's typecast to play that role. And that's some spooky shit there, but that's deep. But it's there. I dare you to suggest otherwise, because you can't. It's there. People make what they want of it. They can just dismiss it as coincidence, but it is coincidence. It's coinciding. It's coincidence. Incidents that co. I've done a bit of extra work myself. I'm a background guy, so I'm just in the background. But just within that process, I found myself, when I was doing that work, was a major period in my life where I was discovering synchronicity. And that was how I was seeing it. I was not just that, but there's lots of different ways through doing that work where I was seeing myself ending up participating in stories that was paralleling stuff that's going on in my life. And I'm not being casted. It wasn't the agent was picking Levi. Let's cast Levi for this because they didn't know that shit. So I know that was my own personal syncs, my own personal movie overlaps for whatever reason. Not movies, TV, whatever. I was getting cast in stuff that was overlapping in my life where I was seeing strange coincidences. Like I remember being in this Merlin episode, and I was studying stuff at the time in my own life, and I was literally I was writing lists of things to touch on and like things to study. I was on it. I was really delving deep into a lot of stuff, and on my list, next on my list was alchemy, and I wanted to look into alchemy and alchemists and stuff like that. And then literally I got this call to take part in this job where I was playing an alchemist, and it was like it kind of blew my mind. So that's really weird. That's like literally on my list of things to do like this week today, and I'm getting this call to go play this part that completely coincides with something within my own life. And I had loads of examples like that, but it's just weird. So these things happen. It happens to me, and that's why I know synchronicity. And within the movies, it is, you know, I've had so much synchronicity in my own life that I know it's a thing. I don't know what it means, but it's there. But if it happens on an individual scale, it's going to happen on a mass scale as well. And I think that's what happens. And I think the evidence of that is in things like the movies, where we're, as a global community, whatever, are having these symbolic messages transmitted that have a relevance to our lives for whatever reason. Like I said, it's some deep stuff. And going back to the L. Nielsen or L. Neeson, and what popped into my head was L, because L's one of those sort of common themes that comes in movies. You know, like Stranger Things, the main character is L. I said about before about, and this is where you can drift and attach things, and people think it's a bit tenuous, but in fact, got to draw the line sometimes. There's a lot of discussions to have here, but Stranger Things is the main character's L, and Stranger Things is about a lot of stuff, but L was MK Ultra, basically. That's what was going on, that's what created her. And yeah, that's a discussion for another day. But anyway, L, not L from Stranger Things, but that's what we're talking about here, is Stranger Things. Strange things going on. Strange coincidences. Tapping into other dimensions. Because, you know, I would suggest that synchronicity, that's kind of what that is. Where once you can kind of see it, you're tapping into some higher level of communications that's there. And L is connected to Saturn and Saturnian worship and so forth. That's where you have like elites and elders and elevators, and L, you know, even 11 is it's alluding to a hierarchy, basically, because all these L's are higher places, elite, elevation. And L. Nielsen or L. Neeson is kind of like getting on your knees, son, to L, you know? And I might just be making it up, but it's there. It's a funny coincidence. And I got to get on with some work, to be honest. I had that in that last video, and I'm waffling on again, but I just had to just come back to that point while it was on my mind. So like I said, I'm going to start documenting this stuff, and let's have a discussion about this, because it's there, and I want to see what other people are seeing, because I'm seeing some weird shit, man, some stranger things. So anyway, peace and love again. I'm off. Bye bye.